Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing one for the second episode of The Walking Dead Season 7 and going onward, and that is, what do I think Negan is going to do with Daryl? And spoiler warning if you're not caught up for Walking Dead. This question came from Enrique Alvarado, and he says, Q&A, Trev, please answer this. So considering the fact that Negan took Daryl and said that he likes him, do you think it's possible that he might somehow brainwash Daryl and make him his right-hand man, so to speak? That way they can kill, or Dwight and Daryl could, or Daryl could take Dwight's role from the comic books. I don't know. I have a theory that Negan will make him cold-blooded like he did with Dwight. Please answer, Trev. So it's a great question from Enrique. Wanted to give my thoughts on it. So I do think that Daryl and Dwight are so similar in the TV series, and I've said this for probably 3 years now, that I really do think they're going to have to choose one or the other. And I think if they let Daryl through the issue 100 season 7 premiere, then he's probably going to be the one to survive it. So I do think that Daryl's going to survive long term again, and as a result, I think Dwight probably won't. And I do agree 100% with what you said. I think that Negan does take some affection to, or does like Daryl. He thinks that Daryl is kind of tough. He sees Daryl as probably the toughest member of the entire group, and I think overall he's actually very impressed with Rick's group. Now, of course, Negan has his rules, and he wants everyone to abide by his rules, but at the same time, if you don't, it's kind of like sometimes he might respect you a little bit more because you're willing to break the rules and you're kind of fearless. So he wants you to fear him, but at the same time, he does respect characters that are fearless. So you got some conflicting ideas, conflicting goals here from Negan. So with regards to Daryl, I do think he likes Daryl. I do think so. I think Negan sees a lot of potential in Daryl, and he sees him as probably the toughest member of Rick's crew, and he respects Rick's crew because they took out an entire faction of Negan's people without losing anybody, or as far as Negan knows, without any of their people being killed or left behind. So I think he's very impressed by Rick's group and what they're able to do and how strong they really are. And I think he knows that, which is why he tries to get them under his wing, and he takes a lot of time with Rick, and he spends the whole night with him from night to daybreak, and with the others, to try to break them in. With Daryl in particular, I think he chooses Daryl. Now, Daryl punches him in the face, so he's going to want probably to punish Daryl quite a bit, maybe torture him a little bit, this kind of thing, at the sanctuary, taking him back. But at the same time, I do think he wants to break Daryl in the same way he broke Rick in, and I think he knows it's going to be harder with Daryl, but if he's able to do it, I think he sees the potential that Daryl has as somebody that has a lot of skills and is a really, really strong survivor that can survive without too much, and is very animalistic. So what he needs to be. So everybody likes Daryl so much. Even Negan likes Daryl, from what it looks like. So. Yeah, very cool stuff, and I do think you're right on track there, that could be an awesome storyline for the TV series where Negan tries to change Daryl. He tries to change him into a savior instead of a survivor as part of the saviors. So rather than Daryl being an Alexandrian going forward and Rick and the crew, I think Negan is actually going to want to try and keep him as part of the saviors itself. So not give him back. I think he's going to want to keep Daryl if he's able to change him. So we'll see how it all shakes down. We'll see how it all goes. But very excited for this season to see how that all happens, and the transformation that's going to happen with Daryl. I think of the season 6 quote, I should have killed him. Should have killed you. Yeah, you probably should have. And, is he going to, in the future, be willing to kill people? Is Daryl going to change and become more of kind of a bad guy as a result of Negan and the others and their influence? Very interesting stuff, and I can't wait to see how it all works out this season. And I think we're going to see the start of it in episode 2, so I can't wait. Next one we got from Kuin189. He says, "Hey Trev, did you enjoy Rick's booger bubble in the premiere?" People keep talking about boogers and stuff. Well, the thing is that it's, and I actually do enjoy it. I'll just say it. I do enjoy it. I mean, obviously no one likes looking at boogers, right? But I like how real they made the premiere. I like how they really humanized the characters, and they really made them feel like people in the real world, and they didn't stop the scene and clean up the characters, clean up the boogers and stuff, and then start again. They kept it in there because that's real. That's the way it would be, if you were actually feeling that way. And I really felt that way with Maggie and her lines, and the way Lauren Cohen delivered those lines, where some of it you can't even really make sense of. She's just stuttering, she's stammering, and she's shocked, she's traumatized, she can't get things out, and she's going one direction, she's going the... I mean, that's how you would react in real life, isn't it? I mean, it wouldn't be so clean as to say like some Shakespearean line or something afterwards. That's not real life. People don't react that way when something significantly traumatic just happens. If you look at car crashes or things like this where they just happen out of nowhere, this is the way people react afterwards. They're processing it. They don't know how to respond. And I felt like even things like that with the Rick's response to and the way Andrew Lincoln's acting was this episode, very, very real. You can't help but think that a part of them was genuinely sad, genuinely upset, and all they really had to do was tap into the fact that two of their friends on set, two people that they consider probably to be part of their work family, so to speak, Walking Dead fam, you guys have heard this type of rhetoric, this language, are going to be leaving the show. Stephen Yeun from the very first season leaving the show. So I felt like all they really had to do was tap into the fact that those two huge actors that have been in the series all the way through are now leaving, and they were able to really portray that sadness and impact. So I liked it, all in all. Next one's from Johnny Shu. He says, "Hey Trev, regarding your last video question with the wolves working for Negan, wouldn't it be nice to see a tie-in if you got to see a picture on the wall of one of Negan's victims, again in the sanctuary, and seeing a victim with a W? I just think it would be cool to picture the wolves kneeling down in Negan's line, just like the group experience. Thanks, man." And for Johnny, that is a tremendous idea, my friend. That is just genius. That's a great way that they could show, if they wanted to, that the wolves were under Negan's influence. If they had a picture, a Polaroid, like they've shown that they take, and we got to see an Easter egg of the wolves there, that would be brilliant. That would be a brilliant way to show that they really didn't have a choice, and kind of to make the audience sympathize with them a lot more than they currently do because of the fact that they attacked the group like that and everything they did. It could humanize them more and make it more understandable why they acted the way they did, because if they couldn't get food and ammunition and supplies and feed it up to the saviors, they themselves would be killed. So the line "we didn't choose" would really make a lot more sense, and it would be a nice back tie-in to the previous season and what happened there, kind of showing that even that was a consequence of Negan, and that's how far his reach extends back in the series. So that would be really cool, and I'd really like to see that. So I hope what you've said is true, and that we do see something like that. If you guys see it in a future episode, write it in the comments below in the review videos and that, and we'll go in Easter eggs and things you missed and do videos like that all season for anything like that. So hopefully you're right. Great call out, Johnny. Next one's from AJ Unlimited. He says, "Yo, Trav, a couple of questions. First question is, how the hell did Negan get so many people on his side? I would imagine his army would turn on him at some point after seeing what he does to people." Okay, let's stop right there. Would you turn on him after seeing what he does to people? I wouldn't. Do you want to suffer the same fate? Do you want to get your head bashed in front of everybody and have that be your last moment of him talking smack to you while your eyeballs hanging out? I don't think so, man. So Negan enforces his rule in such a terrifying and brutal way that people probably wouldn't turn against him. You have even in reality throughout history, there's lots of groups of people that have taken over countries and have risen up, and you have dictators and things like this. I mean, it's very real. If people are threatened with their lives, their families' lives, their son, right? Anybody like this, they will do things they would not normally do because someone can have that kind of leverage over them. Negan has incredible leverage, right? That's how he's been able to grow his army to such a huge point. Do the people love him? No. Most of them probably hate him. Some of them probably worship him. But they're all afraid of him, and that's how he leads. He leads through fear. He sees it in Rick's face, and he says, okay, we're good here. I've accomplished what I want. Rick will listen now. I see that he realizes how powerful I am, and that he's not going to mess with me. That's how you can get dictators in the real world and throughout history to rise to the top. People got to look out for themselves too, and these people exploit that. To rise to power. So yeah, absolutely. And that's in the same way. That's how he gets so many people on his side, under his wing. It's the same as in medieval times. You have kings, you have queens. They have torture means. They will flay you. They will do these things to you. Do you want to cross them and try to take them down? Maybe you want the power. Maybe it's worth it. Maybe if you fail and you end up getting flayed, it's probably not worth it. So, I don't know about you, man, but I think it's totally realistic, and I personally probably wouldn't. If I was part of the Saviors, I probably would do exactly as Negan says, and I think most of us probably would. And that doesn't make us evil people. That just makes us part of a system that Negan has created, which goes into our will to survive and to protect those we care about. Your second question is, do you think Carl will sneak onto Negan's truck? And I've been asked this one already, so I'll go through it real quick, like he does in the comics, and possibly try to help Daryl escape or something? No, I don't think so. But we'll see what happens with it. I think it's going to be adjusted to Daryl, and maybe some of those sequences will be given to Daryl. Next one's from Storm. He says, "Hey Trev, I was just curious about your thoughts on Gotham taking the red shirt characters from The Walking Dead and turning them into bigger roles, LOL. And if you guys aren't aware of this, we've had a few characters. You have Sam from seasons 4, I think. Yeah, 4 and No Sanctuary, where he gets batted and bled out. You have him. He's playing the Penguin in Gotham, and he's fantastic. And he's also, I think he's gay in Gotham, which is a gay penguin. That's a little different. I'm not used to that. That's just coming out right now. That's nice. But he's fantastic. He's really, really fantastic in Gotham. And then we also have Benjamin, is that his name? I think that's his name. The Alpha Wolf, who is playing the Mad Hatter and is playing right now the best Mad Hatter I have ever seen adapted to either a TV series or anything. Certainly smokes the Batman the Animated Series Mad Hatter from when I was a kid watching that show. So I think it's great that the Gotham is taking some of these Walking Dead actors and really giving them some cool roles to work with. And we're getting to see just how awesome they are. The guy who played the Alpha Wolf, he's fantastic as the Mad Hatter. He's really, really great. So check out Gotham if you guys haven't seen it and you're interested to see some Walking Dead alumni in it. Very cool. Carlman23 says, "Hey Trev, Q&A, do you think the Glenn fake-out death last season took some of the shock and sadness away from his real death? I was actually more sad when he quote-unquote died last season by the dumpster. I had already mourned him and he came back." Your thoughts? Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one, and people have been talking about quite a bit. I've given my thoughts on it a few times in different mediums, high school newspapers and stuff like that, radio interviews, like I did with David this yesterday in New York. So it definitely does take away. I think when you see it fake the first time, it definitely has a different feel now. I think that was kind of, but then again, you're going to have near-death experiences in a zombie apocalypse. Like Rick has had plenty. Rick at the prison. I think of the one where Daryl and Merle save him. The zombies are coming at him in the fence, and he's kind of getting pinned and stuff. So lots of the characters have had near-death experiences. It's just that with his, they fully fleshed it out and they made it trick the viewer from our perspective, our point of view, and it made it seem like Glenn was really dead. Everybody reacted, and then we found out, oh, actually he's not. He was under the dumpster the whole time, which was cool that online we were able to dissect that and see the frames and see that he actually did crawl underneath it, and that it was in there, but it was so quick, if you didn't dissect it and slow it down, you wouldn't see it. So I do think it kind of took away a little bit of the impact. But then again, if you've read the comics, you knew that was his time anyway. So it kind of changed things, right? Like it made it so that we were expecting to see his death around this time. So I liked the fake out death. I thought it was a really cool sequence, and it was really scary for Nicholas and everything, and really exciting when it first came out. But definitely the fact that he's just killed in under a year later in real world time, in under a season later in the show, I think does take away from the impact and rewatchability for that sequence, because it's like, well, yeah, he just dies later anyway, so it was all for naught. But it's a struggle for survival, right? They're trying to survive. They're doing the best they can. Anthony says, hey, Trev, on Talking Dead, Scott Gimple himself revealed that next episode would have significant story content involving Abraham. I think it has to be he must have, quote-unquote, made pancakes with either Rosita or Sasha. Maybe both, since he may have jumped, I don't think he did, from one bed to another in a relatively short amount of time. What do you think, bro? Long time since I don't think so, Anthony. We could see maybe with Sasha, but the thing is that we're already seeing that storyline with Maggie. You really want to see the same storyline duplicated for Sasha? I don't think so, because if they do that, then it's like, well, we've got that going with Glenn. Now we have that going with Abraham. It's just it's kind of redundant, don't you think? That's what I would say to that. So I don't think so. It would add emotional weight to it, but it'd be like, this is already going on with Maggie, so I don't get why this has to happen with Sasha as well. Guts and Glory says, is it bad I wanted to laugh at some of Negan's jokes but felt uncomfortable to do so? No, it's not, Guts and Glory. It's that, Negan is really genuinely funny, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan does an awesome job as him. And at the same time, I laughed quite a few times, if you saw my reaction video to it. But at the same time, he's the bad guy right now, so from our perspective. So, yeah, it's definitely some mixed emotions right there, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy. You're not evil. You're not sadistic. Just because of that, it's... Negan is a very complex character. He has a lot of layers. And the last one will be from Domino Sore. He says, Red Wedding of Walking Dead, everyone. And that was a comment. And yeah, I know it really has that feel. I think a lot of it, as Game of Thrones did have with the Red Wedding, where if you haven't seen that event in Game of Thrones, I want to call it an event, not really a TV series episode. We have a mass... assassination. We have a mass murder in it, and you have even women are killed, babies in their mother's womb are killed. It's very, very brutal. So this episode really had a Walking Dead feel for that, but I feel like it still was not so bad that it dehumanizes Negan. I think that Negan is still likable for some people. Because he doesn't... Now, had he have killed Maggie with the baby there, and maybe another female or something, or had he have killed 3 or 4 characters, it may not be the same, and people may never forgive him if he does that. So I think they went with a smart route where maybe it's not quite as brutal as Red Wedding. It's very brutal, don't get me wrong. Maybe not quite as bad, but as such, it doesn't make Negan out to a Walder Frey level villain where you just hate him. And you don't love to hate him, you just hate him, Whereas with Negan, it's kind of more gray than that. You kind of love to hate him, and you hate him at the same time, but you also think he's funny, and you think he's charismatic, and you see that. So I think Negan's a much better character, much better villain, and they did what they could do with the story at that time without making it so brutal that everyone hates Negan forever. A lot of people just hate him for now. Maybe in a couple years they'll forgive him. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see how it goes, though. Anyway, that'll be it for today's Q&A, guys. Keep sending me your questions, and we'll keep making lots of Q&A videos. Got a couple days now till the premiere for the second episode of Season 7. It's going to be an awesome season. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you liked the video, please thumb it up below. You can also share. You can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe. So for this video, guys, we'll see you again tomorrow. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.